Welcome to Traveling Adventures, your quest for love. This show is for single people and those in helpless failing relationships. Subscribe, like, and share this video with everyone you know, and let us go ahead and begin, shall we? Alright, so our next country that we're going to be visiting digitally is the Bahamas. A little bit known about this country, not a lot by most people. They do know that it is a very famous place to travel to for obvious reasons if you're not familiar with already. But like always on this show, we're going to be talking about the men and women, the Bahamians, and see if they might be a good fit for you if you're searching for that special someone. All right, let's go ahead and begin with the good men and women of the Bahamas, the Bahamians. So, once again, this show is if you're struggling out there to find the right person where you live in your neck of the woods, well, there's only one solution. You got to get up out of there. So go ahead and book a flight to any country out there that interests you and see if your luck fares better. Because I'll tell you what, you won't know if you don't go. And that's why this show was created. To help you see that there's an entire world out there. You can't say that all men are bad and all women are bad when you haven't even seen the world. And even if you thought you've seen most of the world, you still haven't seen it with the correct lens, with the right magnifying glass, if you will. So with that said, let's go ahead and go over the Bahamians. We're going to go over the women first, as always. Okay, so Bahamian women bring an unstoppable, joyful energy to intimacy, mixing playful affection with a deep, reassuring physical confidence that makes every connection feel like a celebration of life. Well, isn't that beautiful? And mutual desire. Right, we've seen this before about mutual desire. That's a must. Can't just be one is happy and the other partner isn't. Bahamian women are masters of easygoing fun. Yep, they love to party. Able to turn a simple beach day into a core memory with their witty humor and infectious laugh. Yeah, you want unforgettable memories. That's the whole point of a relationship, is to live life to the fullest. Not to say, do you remember this one time and this other time? That's fine, but what about the rest of your life? You can't just hang up the coat right there and say, well, it's time to grow old together and then reach the end together. That's not what the relationship's supposed to be about. I like what they say here, core memory, right? You turn a simple day into a core memory. That means an unforgettable memory. Just make the most out of life. Otherwise, you're missing the entire point of being in a relationship. It's a daily task. And you should enjoy that task. Make each other's dreams come true. That's not cliche. That's actually the entire point of love itself. That's the only way you're going to fulfill yourself with happiness. It's not attained any other way. Not with money, not with fame, not with anything else. Alright, so they possess a formidable no-nonsense strength when it comes to protecting their own peace and happiness. There you go. Happiness. Bahamian women carry the specific proud and resilience of island life, having a unique skill for creating abundance and style from limited resources. Right, because you're on an island, making them incredibly resourceful partners who can build a beautiful, vibrant home anywhere in the world. Yeah, so it might not be for everybody, because of the limited things to do, but hey, if everything is fun to do and you can see yourself living there forever, of course you could take vacations if you're living with somebody in the Bahamas. Of course. But your domestic life has to be top notch, and that's also another point of being in a relationship. You guys make a heaven out of a hell, or out of mediocrity for most people. It's up to you both to construct that place of solace, that magical home that you guys go home to. That's just, your domestic life has to be on the top of the list of things to always make exciting. All right, so pretty strong for the Bahamian women here. Pretty simple from what I see. Very straightforward. Nothing extremely passionate. Looks like they emphasize fun and easygoing. So if that fits your gusto. And of course, you got to be attracted to the type of physiques that they have, because not everybody's attracted to every race, every person of this and other countries. You got to know your gustos. But if you're open-minded, you don't quite know yet, sure, give it a shot. Go to any which country and find out for yourself personally if you're not sure. It's a fantastic opportunity to get to know the rest of the world. It's not just who you see around you. That's not... Humans are incredibly various. There's so much variety and combinations. Let's go ahead and pass it on over to the Bahamian men. They offer a physically passionate, rhythm-driven approach to lovemaking that is both intensely focused and effortlessly in tune with their partner's energy, making intimacy feel like a natural and exhilarating extension of their charismatic charm. All right. So physically passionate, I like that. And also, it seems like they're easygoing right off the bat, just like the Bahamian women. All right, so Bahamian men live with a relaxed, soon-come philosophy that dissolves stress, paired with a sharp, observant wit that keeps you constantly laughing, ensuring that life feels like an endless, sunny adventure rather than a series of obligations. Oh, absolutely. If you only focus on the responsibilities in your life, your ability to respond to whatever needs to be done, your obligations, you're missing the entire point of life. All right? Yes, you have to be responsible. But you have to respond to that which matters most, those intimate moments, those magical, unforgettable moments. Whether it's rated X or Disney, rated Disney, all of the in-betweens. Unforgettable memories, as I mentioned earlier. All right, let's go ahead and finish off with the Bahamian men here. Bahamian men are raised with a specific saltwater toughness of men who work on the sea, giving them a calm, capable competence in handling any crisis and a deep sense of responsibility for being the steady rock their family can always rely on. That's pretty good, pretty honorable. And once again, steady rock, everything's pretty chill from what I get. These are the top 3 traits of the Bahamian men and women. So without further ado, as we always do on this show, let us go ahead and shift gears into the bad men and women of the Bahamas. That's right. It's always required to go over the good and the bad. So I always leave the bad for last because we don't want to start off on a bad note. We always want to be optimistic and give them a chance with the top 3. And with that said, because we have to be very careful on this show, special disclaimer. If you happen to be if you're a Bahamian from the Bahamas, the following does not apply to all men and women from the Bahamas. So if you know any Bahamians out there, you're from the Bahamas yourself, do not take offense. This is what they, quote unquote, say about Bahamians when it comes to relationships. Very specific, all right? Okay, so here goes with the bad. We're going to start off back with the Bahamian women who can use sex as a direct tool of control. We've seen this quite before with other cultures, with other people of other countries. This is very bad. That's not what sex is supposed to be used for in any justification, because there is no justification. You just do not weaponize sex. That means that you're not in love and you don't care about the relationship at all, and you have mental and emotional problems. Freely giving it to get what they want and strategically withholding it as a punishment. Creating a transactional dynamic where physical intimacy is rarely a simple act of passion, but a calculated move in an ongoing power game. Yes, and this can apply universally to other toxic women from many other countries out there in toxic scenarios. Bahamian women often operate within a tight-knit, matriarchal family network where loyalty to mothers, sisters, and aunties is absolute, leading to constant family interference in your relationship. Yes, please keep the family out of it if it's just too chaotic. And especially if they're toxic, if they're trying to control your relationship, like hands off. Okay, if you have a great family who respects you and just wants to get in your business, but they mean well, okay, listen to them. But you gotta let them know. Give you some room to breathe, you and your partner. All right? Especially if they're toxic, you have to keep them out because that's just going to hurt your relationship and most likely break it in two. Shared finances being redirected to relatives. Yes, we've seen this happen with another country out there. Absolutely just, siphoning finances to the family in discreet and secret. That's not ideal at all. That's not excusable. That's a trust violation right there in the relationship. And that's the most important thing in a relationship is trust. It's not just because it's monetary. No, financial issues, they need to be brought forth for both partners to discuss in a relationship. And her siding with them over you in every argument. Okay, so, all right. So she's using you. This is the toxic woman that uses you and just pretty much takes advantage of the financial situation by siphoning money to her family. She's not with you because she loves you. She's just with you to use you. Yes, this is extremely toxic. We've seen this before. Bahamian women may carry a deep-seated, hardened distrust of men's fidelity from a culture where cheating is common. All right, so that's a very big negative of the Bahamas. Doesn't that sound... But, I mean, there's no justification to cheat back. I mean, you just have to end the relationship, right? But a culture, wow, that's pretty powerful. That's quite that, I mean, once again, not everybody. You have to keep that in mind throughout the entire show. Not everybody, but it seems to be a big problem, leading to preemptive jealousy, constant accusations, and testing your loyalty through toxic drama. Well, nobody wants toxic drama. Nobody. That's not part of a relationship. Often creating the very conflict they fear. Yeah, okay. So if some drama happens in the relationship, arguments, okay. You can kiss and make up. But if it's chronic throughout the entire relationship, year after year, either go see, couples counseling or go to a psychologist, one or both of you. I mean, if you guys want to salvage what you can in the relationship, if there's any chance of it succeeding for an entire lifetime, I'll leave it up to you guys. But you just don't want drama to snowball into a catastrophic destroyer of the relationship. All right, shifting gears to the men. Let's see what makes Bahamian men so bad, those who are bad. Bahamian men are often products of a pervasive spread man culture, where maintaining multiple sex partners is a normalized badge of pride. All right, well, that coincides with what the toxic women are very upset about and why they would probably do the same. So a lot of cheating going on. I guess mainly with the males here, with the men here, the toxic men. A badge of pride. Well, that's not pride we're talking about. There's nothing to be proud of with that. Leading to brazen, unapologetic cheating. So that's just pretty much blatantly out in the open. And a view of commitment as something that controls your fun, not protects your partner's heart. All right, well, that's pretty sad. Well, nobody wants a cheater, okay? That goes without saying. I don't need to explain any further. That's just very common, unfortunately, with toxic people. Men or women, by the way, but in this case, we're talking about the men. Bahamian men can embody the island time mentality to a toxic degree, showcasing a profound lack of urgency or ambition, being chronically unreliable with plans and finances, and leaving you to shoulder all of the practical burdens of building a stable future alone. All right, so not really a team player. Pretty lazy. All right, so island time. Well, there's a time to party. If you party hard, you better work hard. There's a time to party, but this is inexcusable, right? I mean, a toxic degree, obviously. Bahamian men may have a specific fragile ego tied to being a provider. leading them to spend recklessly on flashy appearances such as cars, clothes, nights out, to look successful while failing at basic financial responsibilities. Wow. Leaving you with hidden debts and empty promises. All right, so once again, just poor money allocation, right? That's just poor money management from what it sounds. And, that's just not the ideal partner to be involved with. I mean, a fragile ego tied to being a provider. So spending recklessly, yeah, okay. I mean, it could also be in other instances an addiction to gambling, just poor money management. And this comes with toxic, egotistical men who, it is pretty much universal. It comes in different types of versions, but where the man is going to say, well, I'm in control of finances, and he just squanders, wasting a bunch of funds on ridiculous things. But the woman doesn't get to really make any important decisions. Usually that's the case, and many cultures where the woman is left with the short end of the stick in decision making when it comes to finances. It's machismo. It's toxic masculinity. That's what it translates to. All right, so that pretty much takes care of that. But hey, if you like the beach, if you like the islands, well, here's one for you: the Bahamas. And just to give you a little bit of a preview of what you'll see, but as far as finding the right partner, that's up to you. So you already know what the good Bahamians are like, and also what to watch out for, to be careful for. And yeah, but it doesn't mean everybody. And you can't put percentages to this. You can't say, well, this much percentage of Bahamian men and women are toxic and this many are good. Life doesn't work like that. Especially these days, for a very long time now, decades. It's quite a melting pot at this point. People moving everywhere and anywhere for all different kinds of reasons. So if you've given up on trying to search for a perfect partner where you live, or if your relationship is currently failing and you're about to throw in the towel, then yes, you need to get on a plane and at least go visit a different country altogether. It's a different world out there. All right? So without action, you are stuck. So don't be stagnant. Don't be the fool crying in a corner saying, I just can't find anyone, or I don't feel like it. Well, then you deserve the misery and life of denial that you'll be spewing out that you get, unfortunately, because you are what you create. All right, so my final verdict for the Bahamas. Well, it could be too much partying, right? And not much to do, but there is probably a lot to do. I've been to an island before. But, it just depends on your lifestyle preferences. It really does. But I'll tell you what, when you establish true love with somebody, you have everything you need domestically. And of course you'll take vacations. Of course. That goes without saying. But according to the Bahamians, from what I see here, just make sure they're not partying too much recklessly, and they are serious about their finances. And for the women, well, be careful for those trying to weaponize sex, because that's just unacceptable. All right, so I gotta leave that part up to you guys, but the final verdict is, sure, seems like a decent place to at least visit, to check it out if you're single, ready to mingle. And with that said, because there's not much else I can say, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and share this video. Also, be sure to sign up for your free membership on my website. Best of luck on your quest for love. Much love, everybody.